Okay, Dr. Tawa, we shall begin right now. Okay. Hello, doctor.
Hello, hi. Sorry, suddenly freezing. Yes, just go ahead, please. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Okay, let's begin. So, good evening to all the audience. My name is Manmeet, the moderator for today's, and all who are currently joining the online Research Enhanced Workshop Series 2022. First of all, I would like to welcome our outstanding speaker, Dr. Thavamaran Kanesan. Welcome, Doctor. So before we begin, let me briefly share a bit on Dr. Tawa. So he completed his PhD degree in engineering less than 3 years. He also founded an academic consulting firm known as Proofreading by a UK PhD. So as actually see on the screen, beside an impressive publication record consisting of impactful journal, Dr. Kanesan accomplished several research grants and won numerous academic awards. Skills in coaching and training other researchers could be demonstrated by a large number of academic followers. I believe that most of us today are his followers. I'm also one of the followers. Okay, so next, before I pass the session to him, just make sure that the microphone is turned on. And if you have a speaker question for the speaker, please submit the question in the chat at the end of session or during the session. And please be informed that today's session will be recorded. Okay, so without further ado, I pass the session to Dr. Tawa. So, Doctor, you may begin when you are ready.
Thank you very much, Dr.
Thank you.
Manmeet, for organizing this event. Thank you, and thanks a lot to Computer Science faculty for always organizing fantastic talks at USM. Let's get started. So, Dr. Manmeet, is it loud? Is it okay? I mean, my voice level?
Yes, it's okay.
Okay, all right, fantastic. So let me share my screen and then we can get started. Okay, so we have very good number today. Let me see, almost hitting 100 already, almost there. So in case if your friends, your colleagues, your peers have not joined, please do indicate them to join, because this talk would not be repeated again. So the last talk was focusing on thesis that was back in January. The CSR program, we have 4 different talks. So the first one I started this year, 2022, is with USM. So this is the second talk after several months now. And then we're going to have third and fourth as well. Third will be on systematic review, and fourth one would be a bit more on how to map the journals out of a thesis, more on a hands-on thingy. I have slight idea, but I haven't prepared anything yet because that's like the 4th quarter. We're still in the 2nd quarter, so I think we have ample of time. So in the 2nd quarter, we are focusing solely on publication, okay, high impact publishing. Very, very important topic, especially if you want to establish yourself in research arena, you want to progress, you want to go the distance, and you want to establish yourself. Well, in research career, nothing can beat publication. Publication and grants are, two important things that you must always focus on. So that's why today we're looking into high impact publishing, but not just writing journal. Anyone can do that. Okay, I've been doing that for several years now. How to write journal, how to write Q1 journal, how to use. I even produce my own Q1 template as well. But what a lot of people fail to educate. Let me just click another button here. One moment here. Okay, there you go. All right. So what a lot of people fail to educate students is a strategy. The strategy of how do you extract many journals from a thesis. So that is something that a lot of people don't know how to do. They sort of, I can write 1 journal, that's my requirement to graduate, or write 2 journals, that's my requirement to graduate, and I'm done and I'm gone. Okay, so that is fine. I'm not telling that's wrong. If your career is already set, you're in government or you're in private sector, and you're just doing PhD for the sake of title and to build your career out of it, publication is not really going to matter, then fair enough. 2 is good. You do your thing and you move on with your life. That's fine. No problem at all. However, if there is opportunity for you to extract more papers from a journal, You can write more review papers, more empirical papers. Why not? You're not going to pay for it. It's your hard work actually, and you are going to publish your hard work. You're going to push it out to the world, and you're going to get citation end of the day. So why not get the recognition for the hard work that you have done so far? That's the overall motivation, right? So that's why I'm giving this talk today on actually indicating you when and where and what kind of journals that you can actually extract throughout your whole journey. A lot of people actually do the mistake of only writing journal after, especially in Malaysia, to write journal after they finish the whole thesis or proposal and so on. But the way that I was trained, I was trained to write journal as we go. Okay, as we go, write journal, write, and then convert that into a proposal or document, and then continue writing, and then convert those into thesis and so on. That's how I was trained. So I always emphasize a lot on publication. Okay, so okay, so for those who have joined us, okay, now I think already hit more than 100. So for those who have joined us now, for those presently here, in case if you have any queries, you have any questions at all, feel free to ask as we're going to start now. Feel free to ask in the chat box. Okay. No, Ayanda, I don't know about next Wednesday, but mine will be only the next quarter. Okay, I think next class with, let me just see if I have the dates here. I think the next one would be USM, where are you? Okay, July 4th will be the next one. That will be on systematic review. Followed by that, we will have, let me see, USM. November, 1st of November. So 1st of November will be the final talk for this year. So this is my talks. I don't know if probably Dr. Manmir has other speakers as well that I'm not so sure. So this is what we're going to focus today. So the previous talk, for those who never attend, back in January, I guess, yeah, January, that was focusing on thesis. How do you write proper thesis? You know, how do you develop a thesis? What do you need to do? Literature review, blah, 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 blah. And then from there, we connect to the journal. So this time, we're looking at the other angle where we're going to focus onto the journal. Okay. All right. So I'm not going to go through this again. I think Dr. Manmi has done a fabulous job on that. So I'm going to skip this. Just a bit on our organization. This is the whole reason I'm here, and I could be here. So we are proofreading by UK PhD based at Cyberjaya. So in case if you want to visit from Penang, do let me know in advance. All right. So we are the only ISO 9001-2015 certified academic consulting firm in Malaysia. Very rarely people have done this. Only few in the world have done it. Editage, American Journal Expert probably. Oh, no, I think Cambridge Proofreading. Those are the only ISO holders in this segment. They are also recognized by SFEP, also known as CFEP in the UK, Society for Editors and Proofreaders, and we are also certified training company by HRTF in Malaysia. So these are our presence at the moment. All these mappings are all our presence so far, with the most recent penetration into South America. So we had one paper accepted 2 weeks ago from Mexico, one of our client. And then we have few papers going on in Peru. Like today, we had a new client coming in from Colombia. So it's picking up in South American side. Quite interesting to see how they're working as well. And we are also official proofreading and MOU in progress with all these following universities. We used to work with GSB USM. So we work very actively with GSB USM when they were going towards AACSB certification. Okay, so that was when we very, very actively worked officially with USM. The rest are usual USM clients like journals and theses and so on, right? And these are our document count so far. I haven't updated yet, so I update every 6 months once, but I think now we already hit more than 21,000, I guess. And that is what we do in terms of an organization. So let's forget the service part here. I'm just going to focus and tell you what we're going to focus on today in terms of our expertise. Today's knowledge is a collective knowledge that I've gained over a period of 10 to 12 years now, roughly. Not only working on my own papers, I have more than 60, 70 publications, although I don't do active research anymore. I still do try to publish nowadays for the past since 2019, I published very little papers. At the peak of my research after my PhD, during my postdoc, I used to publish at least 25 to 30 papers a year. Okay, that was my peak. That was my best time, my prime time. Now I publish maybe one or two a year. Okay, like this year I already published one scoping review paper. One more, I just got the review response today, Elsevier. Hopefully it'll get through. It was major revision, but I think it should be okay. And so on and so forth. So now, today's class is going to focus on publication, thesis to journal conversion. We're going to talk a bit on thesis, okay, because they are interrelated. You cannot do one without the other, right? And we're going to look into a bit on the language segment as well. So this is all collective information and knowledge I'm going to share today. Very, very important knowledge, all right? So before that, to all of you who have, now we have 122 participants. Okay, that's fantastic. Okay, so to all of you, I like big crowd because then we can discuss a lot. Knowledge is all about discussing. If you're a passive listener, just listen. You eventually won't be able to grab much of the information. So I would advise you to stop doing whatever else that you're doing. If you're on Lazada, you're on Shopee, you're on Facebook, TikTok, you're on workplace meeting, you're doing something else, you're reading, stop doing all of it. Okay, these 2 hours will never come back. Okay, so focus here. I want all of you to be keyboard warriors in the chat box. Okay, don't unmute your mic, keep your mic muted. If you have any questions, any discussion, anything you want to ask, chat it up. All right. Okay, for the rest of the participants, how many of you here have not attended my Facebook live class before? Okay, these are separate classes that are not being taught today. These are all different, very, very niche classes. And end of the class today, I'll give you an opportunity for you to go and request classes that I'll conduct on Facebook specifically for your requests. Okay, because I'll open up to all my followers, 100 over 1,000 followers. Okay, so please do let me know how many of you here in the chat box never attended or have attended. Also, you can mention if you've attended. Okay, thank you, Rabia. Thanks a lot for sharing. How many of you never attend? Why it's important? Because then I can tell you where to go and find all the recordings. That's the main purpose. Okay, all right. Okay, we got one attended before. Fantastic. Okay, Manjula, thank you. Okay, so we have few attended, few never attended. Quite a lot never attended actually. So what are these classes? What do I do? So at the end of every class, which I have almost every day with all the universities in Malaysia, I give the opportunity to students to ask for class, things that they cannot learn from the supervisor, things that they cannot read from books, things that you only gain through experience. Okay, so like how to simplify a problem statement. I have problem writing a problem statement. So what I've done, I've recently created a 7-steps template to make life easier for postgraduate students, things that I never had during my PhD time. So I have summarized into very simple 7 steps for you to write problem statement easily. So that is the next class I'm going to conduct actually on writing problem statement. Okay, so I'm going to show you very quickly where to find these classes. Okay, so this is where I normally live, Proofreading by UK PhD page. We have, I think, over 54,000 followers on this page and about 56,000 members in our Facebook group. So all in all, it's almost about 110,000 already. So let me share the link with you to quickly visit this Facebook page. So all of you can check out the chat box. I've given the link and click that. Go to that page. I'll tell you what to do next. Take about 1 minute. Click that link, please. Okay. So once you have clicked that link, you won't be seeing what I'm seeing. You won't be seeing all this because I'm the admin. You'll be seeing like as a visitor. Okay. The first thing you need to do is click the 3 dots. Okay, and hit the follow button. Like and follow, and then make sure you click follow and then click favorites, because only then Facebook will show you when I go live. Otherwise, Facebook will never show you. They are very, very cheeky because they want to make more money. They don't show contents to followers. Okay, that's why you can see a page with 1.5 million followers, 3 million followers, only got 1,000 likes, 2,000 likes. If you look at the ratio, it's not even 1%. Okay, that's what Facebook does, right? So you can scroll through here. There are many tutorials, many sharing. I'll do like these few days. We've been sharing 5 major steps to write significance of study. So you can check it out. Many tutorials on that. This is something I did a couple of days ago most comprehensive PhD Master's Research Proposal Plan for 2022. So what you need to do for the remaining weeks, okay, so like week 1 to 4 June, what you need if you haven't done your proposal yet. So I already laid out the plans for you guys. You guys can follow if you want to follow, all right? So the processes are already here. Now let's go to the upcoming classes, all right? So you can click more and go to this tab here, events. Okay, so these are specifically organized classes for this month. Okay, based on my last month classes, all the feedback that I've received, these are the important classes that they need. Okay, students like you guys. All right. Any academicians in house except for Dr. Manmeet? Anyone else? Apart, do we have only students or any other academicians have joined today? Please kindly comment in the chat box so I will know. Okay, so we have Dr. Gan is here as well. So Dr. Gan, Dr. Mamit, anyone else? Okay, hi Dr. Gan, how are you? We got okay, Dr. Mohammed.
Hi, Dr. Tara.
Hi, okay, great. Dr. Shahidul, okay, all right. So a couple of doctors here, all right. So nice to meet you all. So these are all the upcoming classes requested by students. So next week, Tuesday, we have 7 steps problem statement template. I'll be sharing my problem statement template design. I just shared it today on Facebook again, I guess. 13 June, we proposal defense by December 2022. How to actually achieve that? How do you plan out your time and so on? What you need to do? Step-by-step progress. Chapter 1 template. This is another template. I'm basically pushing forward to people who are struggling to finish proposal. Okay, a lot of people are dragging time. A lot of people come and tell me their problems and so they're dragging time. They don't know how to finish their proposal. So I'm going to boost it up a bit. Okay, and how to write your review journal. Okay, that means systematic review, scoping review, proposal, conceptual paper before your proposal defense. So that's why I have these 4 specific classes this month. In case if you're interested to register, these are all completely free, so nothing to lose. You can register yourself given the links already. Okay, so take your time, hit the links and register yourself so that next week you can join the classes already. So now let's look at previous classes. Okay, so if you click more, just go to videos or wherever you find that videos button. This is something I did recently, overcoming PhD struggle. So if you scroll further down, you can find a lot of videos here. This one specific playlist, 110 videos. Okay, that I've done over the period of 2 years now, more than 2 years now. Okay, so you can see here, starting a PhD proposal, 5 methods to find research gap, designing questionnaire instrument, literature review databases, PhD after time with Dr. Tahira, one of my coaching client who finished a PhD after 10 years. Finally, she completed systematic literature review, systematic scoping review, finding journal for publication. This is another hot topic. A lot of people struggle to find journal for publication, so they go to journal finder, they put in the general topic in Elsevier or Taylor Francis website, but you have to understand that is only limited to that journal only. How about if you want to open up and publish in any journals that you want? So I've discussed about that in this class. You can go and have a look. How to produce 3 journals from a thesis. I'm going to talk about it today, more specifically. Finding research gap, and so on and so forth. So you can keep going. There are many classes here, over 100 classes. During your free time, please go ahead and go through. At the end of the class today, I'll be giving you a link. So stay until the end. You can request for your own class, which I will do in July. After collecting all the consensus on my Google site, I will do the classes based on your request for coming July, because I cannot conjure any more ideas already. I've exploited all my ideas. So now you guys can request directly and I'll do the class. Okay. All right. So let's get moving. All right. So these are my social handles. Okay. So in case if you're wondering how to watch my other videos and so on, and my templates. Okay. And my templates and so on, those are the links you can join. Most importantly, my YouTube channel. You can get direct access to videos, and my TikTok channel as well. But that one's something for fun. I started recently. You can have a look. I have done a few videos on that as well, tutorial videos. But most importantly is a Telegram group. A Telegram group is quite important. Very quickly already hit 9,400 members. Here you can find various resources. All my resources, that I build, whether reference papers, publications, templates, literature review templates, and so on. Everything can be found. Just click this pinned message. Okay, if you click here, you can see this was yesterday's talk with UKM. These are upcoming classes, and you can see this is the problem statement template, 7 steps problem statement template, which I'll discuss in the next class next week. Okay, so this is how you write problem statement very quickly and effectively. I even have broke it down into paragraphing level. Okay, so paragraph 4, paragraph 3, paragraph 2, paragraph 1. Okay, for you to make your life easier. And if you keep clicking here, let me show other resources as well. Okay, this is another one, SLR inclusion template. Let me just quickly tag that. So in case if you're doing systematic review, if you're wondering how to determine inclusion exclusion criteria, you're not sure, like what should I add? So there is a sensitivity. This is something I'll share in the 3rd class. There is a sensitivity factor, sensitivity versus precision factor. They are inversely proportional. Okay, sensitivity, precision. So this template will explain that to you. This one. Okay, so the PDF file, I normally give out the PDF file also so you can make use of it. All right, the PDF file is here. And this is an example I've given, like example, educational impact of being a young carer for age 16 to 24. So if this is your topic, how can you pin down the keywords and how can you do inclusion, exclusion criteria? This is the first trial and this is the second trial. Okay, so you can have a look to, you can interpret that for your own understanding according to your own topic. All right, so again, you keep clicking here. Concept paper sample. Let me have to tag another thing. Okay, this is problem statement templates right here. The PDF files are here. Sample papers for today. One moment. Yeah, concept paper. Okay, this is the notes required for today's class, which I'll share with you later. Okay, all right, so let's continue. So in case if you have not joined the Telegram group yet, please hit that link in the chat box and join that group. Okay, I'm pretty sure today you'll be requiring to join while watching the class because you'll be downloading some resources from there. Okay, so today we are going to cover a few aspects of publishing, journal writing. Okay, first one we're going to look at what are high impact journals, most important thing, how to find a journal, types of journal papers, criteria for a high impact paper writing, potential extraction of journals from a thesis, why rejection happens, and most importantly, I'm going to give you a very simple and free cover letter, which you can reuse. Okay, no copyright, nothing, it's just a cover letter, all right? But it is the most important tool that a lot of people fail to use. A lot of people like not bother to write very good cover letter, but that is actually like the sort of marketing brochure for your paper. So you must sell everything that you can sell in that cover letter. That is what a lot of people fail to do. Results in desk rejection. Okay, so now before we start, now is the time for you to be keyboard warrior again. What is the publication requirement for your master's, PhD, or KPI, since you have academician as well? So do share in the chat box so I can know the requirement and can conduct the class in accordance to that. All right, so what is the publication requirement for master's, PhD, or your KPI, whether Scopus or ISI? Also mention that as well. Okay, all right. Lucky that some people still can publish in Scopus. It's good because ISI is not easy, but ISI is the most desired papers. Of course, I myself, I desire only ISI. But it takes a lot of effort. Come on, everyone else, go ahead. In case you have different requirements. So I know generally it's 2 papers, Scopus or ISI. You want papers, wow. That is, I wouldn't say impossible, but a lot of work needs to be done. Okay, so I sort of got the idea now. Very good. Okay, let's go. Let's quickly jump into what are high impact journals. So this is something that we are very, very proud of. Just I think last weekend, we as a team have already uploaded a lot of new papers onto a Facebook page. This is something that we do for our clients because to boost their citation. So whenever they get paper published, we promise them to publish those papers on our Facebook page and group as well because of our followings. So they get citation. Right, so these are some of those collections. With the recent ones, I think we have uploaded another 250 to 300 papers last weekend. Those were from 2020, 2021. I haven't gone to 2022 yet, or 20, end of, I haven't even hit February or March 2022 yet. These are all still 2020 and 2021. I don't have the time. For a very long time, I never updated. So we are doing it now. Now, on that note, these are some of the most highest impact factor we have achieved. Okay, we are very proud of this, and we are very, very proud of the authors as well. They put a lot of hard work into this. Why specifically these papers? Usually there is a lot of inferiority complex or fear for our localites, for our Malaysian researchers, graduates, academicians, and so on, to push the barrier, to go for high impact. They have a bit of fear. I'm not saying everyone, but some. So that's why I naturally share these examples from our local guys. This is example from UTM, impact factor 14.982. Then we have one more here from UTP, impact factor 10.3. This is from UPM, impact factor 12.563. And this is none other than Dr. Herol. I think most of you know who he is. This is his first systematic review paper, 9.297. Okay, actually, me and Dr. Herol started to work together starting from this particular paper because that's when he started aiming for massive ISI paper. So that's when he started coming to proofread my UK PhD. And I think now we are clocking the 13th paper. Okay, 13th paper already. I think 9 of it or 10 of it were ISI Q1, Q2. I think 2 or 3 was in Scopus. Yes. Okay. And the major highlight here is review. These are all review papers. They are not empirical papers, especially people in technical side, engineering side, computer science side. We don't really write that many review papers. A lot of medical researchers and social science researchers write a lot of review papers. But the trend is changing now because you don't get data all the time and you have to work very hard to get data. So what they do, that's why the strategy today we're going to talk about, when you can write review paper and when do you actually write empirical papers. So that's why I'm sharing this with you. Even, I removed my own paper. Okay. I just recently published one as well. So mine is here. This is my recent paper in case if you want to read. That was Scopus Q1. We never intend to go for ISI. Scoping review based. This is a review paper as well. Scoping review based concept paper. You can download the paper here. So this was the paper that I recently published my own paper, Open Innovation of Institutional Investors and Higher Education System in Creating Open Approach for SDG for Quality Education, a conceptual review. No empirical information, none whatsoever, only completely review based. Okay, so review, you must understand review, you must have a lot of nice, beautiful diagrams, charts, explanation, and so on. So such as the situation here that we did a lot of nice diagrams, nice charts, nice review components, a very good population diagram, visual presentation, and so on, bibliography presentation. Not only one matrix, but we did 2 different matrices and 2 different conceptual frameworks. And this paper was very fast. This paper, surprisingly, I have 2 MDPI papers. They cost a bomb, but it's worth the time. And their rejection also very fast. They are not used to be like last time. MDPI is very, very fast in rejecting and accepting nowadays. They are known for quick acceptance anyway. We submitted this paper 25th January 2022 and accepted by 1st March 2022. So that is slightly over a month. Okay, but provided the paper must be very, very strong. Okay. All right, so that is that. In case if you want to read the paper, it's right there. Please do cite if you wish to cite. Okay, so that is that. So how to publish high impact journal? First of all, you have to do good research. That includes review paper as well. So if you think that only empirical papers are research papers, then I would say that you are wrong. Nowadays, people are already hopping onto the bandwagon of review papers, Cochrane review, scoping review, what do you call that, a systematic review. Even systematic review, there is Prisma review, there is the REWS review, there is REWS review, there is systematic mapping based on REWS. Then there is REWS systematic review is something like scoping review, which I'll explain in the next class. Don't worry about it now. Um, then you need to formulate important RORQ. So this one, in case if you're doing empirical review paper, also sometimes you have to do RQs. This is questions. Most importantly, do not work alone. Form formidable, effective team, not freeloaders. Okay, freeloaders doesn't really matter, right? I mean, if they are there, they are there. They're not there, they're not there. Doesn't really matter. Okay, but try to have effective members of the group to contribute their own expertise. Like some people do analysis, some people do programming, some people do the writing, some people do the proofreading, and so on and so forth. And very important is research methodology. What are you going to do? Experiment, or you're going to do simulation only, modeling? So that all carries necessary weightages. And have amazing results. Okay, have amazing results. In case if you don't have data, you don't have the ability to do the programming yet or go and collect data, no instrument yet, it's still at very early stage, but you want to write a paper, go for scoping or SLR paper with solid review. Okay, which entails everything comes down to solid writing. If you have world-class results, but you never write properly, it's going to be very, very tough to get acceptance or to be even considered for publication by sending to reviewers. Editor will just reject it directly. Okay, so you really need very solid writing, and most importantly, don't change anything after proofreading. Don't. Okay, a lot of people tend to change after proofreading. This includes for supervisors as well. In case if you change your student's paper or if your student changes anything in the paper, get them to highlight, send it back to proofreader for rechecking, because we must make sure that it's impeccable before you submit. Nowadays, they are very, very strict. Okay, the strictness from what I started this company, I think back in 2015, 16 versus now 2022, I think the complexity and toughness went up by at least 150 to 180%. It's only getting worse. All right, it's just getting worse. Okay, what else must you look into? The paper must be an informative paper. Always keep this in mind. What is informative paper? If you write a paper, if you're presenting the same information like the other literature, then there is no point. There is nothing much you're doing there. So no one is going to accept your paper. If you're doing something very unique, all right, something that other papers have not done, whether it's performance evaluation paper or it's an optimization paper, or whether it's a truly a new concept paper, it's a new review totally. You don't get this information from any other papers, truly new data, then that's good. If you're just going to repeat the same information, if in the name of writing a review paper, if you just go read 20 review papers or no 20 articles or 30 articles, and if you just summarize all the 20, 30 articles in your own paper, that is not value. That is a waste of time. Because you know why? They can go and read the 20, 30 papers to get the information. What you must do is add value where if they don't read your paper, they won't get the information, even though if they go back and read those 20, 30 papers. That is what makes the difference. That is what carries as a review paper. Data, again, if you're going to repeat the same experiment or model as anyone else, just by changing one variable, not much of an impact, right? And very important, well-structured with perfect flow. Careless mistake and bad language must be avoided. I review a lot of Q1 papers. I'm a reviewer for Elsevier, I'm a reviewer for IEEE, I'm a reviewer for Wiley, I'm a reviewer for MDPI as well. I was a guest editor for MDPI as well, MDPI Census. When I see careless mistake and bad language as the first instance, confirm the paper will get rejected. Okay, definitely paper will get rejected. One way or another, I'll find more mistakes, and only more mistakes. So when you send a paper, make sure it's flawless. This is how every reviewer will think, because you know why? We all suffer the same fate as well. The other reviewer already screwed us 10 years ago. Okay, so now it's our turn, not in a bad way, but it has to be flawless. Okay, and remember, as I said, only one opportunity, because if you don't impress the reviewer, if you don't impress the editor, you're just wasting your time. After 6, 7 months down the line, they'll say, you know what, rejected. Go and find other journals. You're just wasting your time. So when you submit, make sure it's perfect. Amazing cover letter helps a lot. I formulated one for my own papers. It went as high as 11.7 impact factor with this cover letter I'm going to show you today. So yes, make use of that later on. Until the end of the class, please stay and then have a lot of patience. So if you want quick publication, you can try MDPI. That's the only one I know to be very, very fast. And they are also very, very fast at rejecting. So if you want to know whether your paper has the quality or not, submit to MDPI. You will know the rejection very fast. But at the same time, in case if they already give you a revision, make sure you're ready to pay. It's not cheap. The recent paper that we published was 800 USD. Thankfully, it's Scopus. So I told my colleagues I don't have much of a budget, so we're going to share the cost. Let's go for cheaper one. So we went for that. The previous one I did was MTPay Sustainability. That is now about almost 1,800 to 1,900 USD already. It's double the price because it's almost ISI Q2 to Q1 already almost. Okay. All right, this is the entire review process or processes. You, as an author, submit article, goes to an editor. That's what we think, but it doesn't actually go to an editor. It actually goes to a review staff who actually decides most of the time whether your paper gets rejected or goes to the editor, all right, who decides the reviewers, because editors are full professors normally, especially in ISI journals. They don't have the time to go through every papers. They get thousands of papers almost every day. Okay, they get loads of papers being submitted. So if you think they have the time to filter everything, you are wrong. Right? So it'll be like normal editorial staff will be filtering out the papers. So your opportunity is very, 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 very thin. So must make sure the paper is good. Otherwise, you'll get desk rejection here. If you pass through this, you'll go to reviewers. That will take some time to allocate reviewers. They go to review, blah, 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 blah. It will take you minimum about 5 to 6 months, normal journals. Then review will assessed by editors. Then they'll make a decision whether to reject, accept without correction, or they'll send for revision. Revision can be minor, minor or major, and that will take several rounds. Do you think a paper can be accepted without correction? Here, directly? Have you seen it before? Have you heard of it before? Any of you have experienced that before? You can respond via chat box. If you've never experienced, you've never heard of it, you can say no. Or if you say yes, yes. Anyone? No or yes? Ah, yes, of course, Dr. Gan. Predatory journals, yes, definitely. Predatory journals do that all the time. Okay, we have one, Manan. Definitely possible, definitely. Okay, so I'm going to show you one example of those, if you, in case if you're interested. And this is not predatory. This is not Sebarang journal, but I'll show you. I actually have two experience from our firm, Proofreading by UK PhD. We had two experiences. One was from UTHM. That was before pandemic. That was 2018. But I forgot that doctor's name, so I cannot get in. I cannot recollect which one is there. But she came from my workshop, so that's when I knew. After that, last year I had one more. So that is what I'm going to show you today. Dr. Noor Hidayat from UTM, senior lecturer at UTM. My very old client. Okay, so this is the last year November, he got it accepted. Okay, so this is not easy journal. This is international communication, heat and mass transfer, Elsevier Q1. So surprisingly, after joining Dr. Thavamaran workshop, how to publish in Q1 journal, getting a service by proofing a UK PhD proofing my paper, he literally used my Q1 template for this journal. So I'm very proud of this paper. It followed my exact blueprint, and he got accepted in impact factor 5.683 without any corrections. Okay, no correction. He submitted within, I think, couple of weeks or no, I think couple of weeks. He got accepted directly. There is no any revision correction whatsoever. In case if you want to read the paper, here is the link. Okay, feel free to go and download and have a read to actually experience how a paper will be to get. Of course, not everyone can get this. Okay, based on my statistical calculation, the probability of getting a paper without comments, without any revision, would be 0.007%, I think. Yeah. Okay, so it's not that straightforward, but it is possible. Okay, now usually you'll get rejection, which if you go through review process, you get a lot of comments. Once you get rejected, don't just take the paper and then resubmit somewhere else. Don't do that. What you can do is you can always go back to the editor and negotiate with the editor. You can write a very nice email to the editor saying that, you know what, I've waited X amount of months. We are a team, we're working very hard. Our aspiration is to publish in your journal. You great journal, and we believe our paper can contribute a lot of citations. You have to sell yourself. You always have to sell yourself. We are willing to do all the corrections. Our only request is that let us resubmit the paper and then please return it back to the same reviewers. This is very important because a known devil is better than an unknown alien. Okay, you better go with the known devil. So it's easier. Don't know, Asma. In my case, if I have done that throughout my life, I think probably if I've done 10, just example 10, probably 7 would have replied. 3 wouldn't be bothered. But nothing for you to lose. Just keep trying, right? If they respond, very good for you because you can go back to the same reviewers. And the reviewers will realize that although I've rejected, this guy had put a lot of effort in and come back to me. Why not? Okay, because if you're going to resubmit to another journal, you don't know what kind of review is going to come from that. If they come even swinging harder at you, it's going to be tough for you. So might as well you email these guys, this editor, tell him I want to retry, give me another opportunity, please. Okay, one more opportunity and resubmit. Okay, but make sure you address all the comments very proactively. Try not to skip any comments, be very respectful and so on and so forth. Okay, these are the politics of journal publication. Okay, so that is the whole process. Then in case if you get minor revision or major revision, journals like IEEE Access Plus One, IEEE Access Plus One MDPI, Frontiers, all these open access fast journals, they don't do major revision. They only do minor revision. So that means if they reject your paper and still give you comments, that means normally they won't, but if they still give you comments, that means it's considered major revision. You can always negotiate with them to resubmit because they have cycle time, they have record time that they always publicize. So they cannot go against that record time. So they will just reject and ask you to resubmit if they want to. So don't take it too personally. It's just their process. Okay. Okay. Paraphrasing is a wrongly hated tool. It is. It is a wrongly hated tool. A lot of people always relate that to plagiarism. I recently wrote an article in the Sun newspaper uh, entailing that plagiarism is not the same for undergraduate and postgraduate scenes. Why? Because undergraduate assignments. So when you talk plagiarism, you're just copying one assignment to another assignment. But postgraduate research, we don't call copying, we call that adaptation or inspiration. Okay, where we take content or write-ups from other papers. We look at it. Oh, this is how this guy have written this paper. Like for an example, this guy is writing an opening sentence about SME. Like, oh, this is very nice to write. Okay, can I take this and rewrite a bit or rewrite to my own understanding, but with all this content? Yes, you can, because he's talking about SME. He's not talking about his own research. So you can take that, get inspiration, get the idea how they are writing, and you can rewrite it to your own understanding. That is not wrong. That is not plagiarism. That is called reverse engineering. Okay, so I don't see that is being wrong. It is wrong if you copy results. If you go and copy tables, results, graph, all these things, that is definitely wrong. But if you're going to copy, no, I wouldn't say copy. If you're going to adapt and adopt sentences, paragraphs, because some people will just sit down, look at blank screen, write one word, and they'll be like, "What do I write next?" Do you guys face the same problem? Do you guys look at the blank screen and go like, I write one sentence today and I don't know what to write next. I don't know how to construct next. I don't know how to bring in the next idea, and so on. Do you guys have the same problem? Okay, so this is a common problem. I had the same problem as well. So that's when I started this method. My whole writing style is usually, nowadays I don't, but when I started learning, this is how I write. So whenever I see a paper, I'll quickly download them. I'll keep them. I know these content are very important for me. These contents I'll take from various papers. I'll collect them. I'll put like a notation, like, okay, this, when I'm writing a paper, I'll say, okay, this content is going to come from me, this content is going to come from this content, going to especially motivation literature review. Then I'll take that content, I'll put it there, I'll rewrite to my own what do you call it, my own subject area. So that speeds up the writing. Okay, because you have to focus on writing about your topic, not how to write English. All right, so that is two different things. But as you reverse engineer, as you write, as you keep writing and writing, eventually at one point of time, you can actually sit down and start constructing your own sentence already. Because you know why? It became a process. That learning process is reverse engineering. If you want to know whether that works or not, look at China. They are better than US now. All right. The reason is because they look at how a product was done, they reverse engineer for so many years, 20 over years, they reverse engineer, and now they're perfectionists. Okay, they're master of the art. These guys have to go and look for them now. Okay, so that's how you can quickly learn. There is no such thing that you can go to IELTS class or English class and then learn how to write English and then come back and write English. It's not going to work. Okay, it's not going to work. You cannot just learn adjective, grammar and comprehension and so on, and come back and use that knowledge to construct sentences. No. The best way is to look at existing sentences, see how they've constructed, reverse engineer those. Okay? Now, while reverse engineering, don't simply use software to paraphrase. That is where you go wrong. All right? Because software don't understand context. Some of you might have succeeded, but I'm seeing more failure than you do. Okay, on weekly basis, sometimes even daily basis. I've seen theses going down the drain, completely burned down, major correction, reviva, direct rejection. This is one example of those. Editor say never to resubmit because Quillbot made it such a way that the paper lied and went out of the facts. Student never check. Right? As a matter of fact, this writing is from USM, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Because USM has a policy where thesis, once you submit, it will be stored in repository. Okay, so this is that example, I guess. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So if you look at this, it's 100% plagiarized. The student never plagiarized, I have to be honest. But just they submitted to university. I think it's USM or UP. I'm not so sure. Okay, so this one. Then this brother went and bought Quillbot because people, that's how they're selling it, right? Especially in some Facebook groups and so on. That's how they say. They say Quillbot is the master of everything. It's AI based and it can do everything. Most of you guys are computer science background. Do you think you're going to do AI based software which can understand human interpretation, sell it for 100 ringgit? Think about it. If some of you are using it, think about it. Will you sell it for 100 ringgit? You will definitely not sell it for 100 ringgit. So much of work, so much of deep learning, so much of understanding going on in this context. All right. So what it does, it just do simple operations. Spin text. Okay, that's an operation where they spin sentences, spin text, and then it just replaces synonyms, whichever is in its database. We might be thinking, wow, this Quillbot, technical word, it doesn't replace, so good because it doesn't have in its database. It doesn't recognize that particular word. So it cannot replace. But as they update the database, as the software captures more synonyms, it'll just keep replacing. I'll show you an example now. So if you read these TDMA scheduling schemes are very complex and mostly require centralized implementation and can potentially increase end-to-end latency. Potentially, yeah. You see, this student is very diligent. He cited every context. Okay, cited. You see, his citations are very, very intact. But this particular sentence, he never cited because he never said concrete. He never give concrete reasoning. He said potentially. TDMA scheduling systems are very complex and mostly require centralized implementation and can potentially increase end-to-end latency. You don't need citation for that because you say potentially. If you look at what Quillbot did, it changed potentially to theoretically. Now, what is red and yellow? Red, total change of context. Yellow, bad structure grammar. Forget bad structure grammar, it's fine. Even if the software screw up the structure and grammar, you can still correct it. But context, you can't. Especially if your paper is lengthy, you cannot, you won't be able to sometimes even understand or imagine that it's actually out of context. Like this one sounds the same. Can theoretically increase end-to-end latency. So theoretically only what? No, theoretically means it's a proven context. There's a theory and there's an underlying theory for this context, which it doesn't have because there is no citation and the editor knows very well. So the editor outright rejected this paper and asked him not to resubmit because this is considered unethical. There is no such factual thing that actually happened. There is no theory to support this. Another thing you see, n-2 space dash space n. This is wrong. You're supposed to write it like that. You see, the student is actually correct the way he has written. But Quillbot, so cheeky, in order to break the correlation factor of Turnitin, because in fact, it does matching, right? Turnitin just do correlation factor to check all the correlating sentences and then highlights, okay, this is in the database, this is in the database, this plagiarism, right? But so in order to break that, what this thing did, I mean, Turnitin, it just added spacing here, break the sentence. So you won't be flagged by Turnitin. So these are the cheeky things done by Turnitin, by Quillbot. So once you combine this back, which you will do, or your proofreader will do, or your reviewer will ask you to do, once you combine that, your Turnitin will shoot up back again. Definitely. So be careful. These are red color, this red color, just in one sentence, all these red colors are out of context, completely out of context. But students cannot realize because the level of language, they cannot relate that. So be careful when you use Quillbot. Be very, very careful. Anyone can claim that. Okay, so some people works out because they actually go through and correct the context, but for a lot of people, actually it backfires. And the people who are selling the software don't tell you that. All right. Even after all this mess, it is still only 61%. So I had to step in to paraphrase again the whole text. And with one paraphrasing, you can easily hit from 100% to 20% if you do it precisely well on your own. You don't need to use any software. Okay, keep that in mind. Huh? If you still want to continue, it's totally up to you. It's the risk that you are taking. Okay, coming to publication. Okay, so you guys know very clearly this is ISI, Web of Science. Then you have Scopus, you have ABDC, which is more related to social science. Any social science guys here? Any business, accounting, finance guys here? Anyone? Or all from computer science? Anyone from other than computer science faculty? Okay, so if engineering. Oh, we have some social science. Okay. Biology as well. Okay. All right, cool. Okay, so we have other faculties as well. So in case if you're from social science, accounting, business, finance, economics, and so on, ABDC is another good ranking of journals you can also look into. Okay, these two are considered the Ferrari of journals. Scopus is more like Toyota of journals. ERA is more like Purdue or Proton of journals. Okay, all right. So that is the difference. So I would advise you to completely scrap this. Don't waste your time with ERA. Scopus is still okay. You can give it a try, but still there are a lot of predatory journals in Scopus as well. Be careful. These guys are more proven, these two, but not easy to get in. It's a lot of struggle, a lot of effort. Before you always publish or submit, check at scopus.com whether the Scopus journal is still Scopus or not. Don't check in simagojr.com. Two websites you can check, simagojr.com and scopus.com. The latest information is always in scopus.com, not simagojr.com. Simagojr, you can get all the quartile information, quartile 1, quartile 2, and so on, but it is only updated much later compared to scopus.com. Okay, but for any reason, you can always go and look for journals in Bill's list in case if they're predatory or not. If they're predatory, usually it'll be listed in Bill's list. You can go and have a look. All right. Okay, high impact journals. what are the kind of publishing houses you can look at? These are all open access, very, very expensive. All right. But if you have like 6 or 7 authors, you can all share the cost. That's what normally we do. Whenever I want to go for open access, I'll talk to my colleagues. We have a number of us that we work together. What Scopus journal for computer science? Oh, there are many. Elsevier got many Scopus journals in computer science. There are Hindawi computer science journals. Okay. Right. Sun Xiaomei, can you mute your mic, please? Thank you. Hindawi got some journals in Scopus. You can look at Hindawi got computer science journals. You can look at what is the other one? Frontiers. You can look at Frontiers. They might have some Scopus journals. There are many Scopus journals. You can simply go to scopus.com and search according to subject area. Okay, so these are all paid ones. MDPI, IEEE Access Plus One scientific reports ranges from 700-800 USD all the way to 2,000, 3,000 USD. If you go to IGI Global Journals, they are all open access. I think 2,000 plus USD. Very, very expensive. Okay, but supposedly they should be fast, hence the price. Okay, and open access, of course, gets you more citation. But if you don't want to pay money, which of course I can understand, then you can always look at these journals. But even within Springer, within Elsevier, there are some journals. There are some journals which are full-fledged open access. You have to pay for those. Okay, you have to check way in advance before you submit. Like Elsevier Helion, I just got the review today for my own paper. Elsevier Helion, I think it's about 900 or 1,200 USD, I think. Very good journal, Helion, Scopus Q1, ESCI. Nowadays I tend to go for ESCI journals because once they get approval from ESCI to SCI, SSCI, they'll go straight into Q1, Q2, most likely. So that's why normally I strategize. I go for MDPI Scopus Q1 or Elsevier Scopus Q1. So I don't need to go to the hustle bustle of SSCI, SCI journals. They normally take very long time. So I normally go this strategy down the road. Eventually it'll become SCI and SSCI because I don't have any KPI requirements. So I'm fine to wait. All right. So then you have Sage, you have Taylor Francis, Wiley, and so on. Some of them in these journals have to be paid. Majority of them are free, but they take time. Okay, they take time. Especially with the recent one, Sage Open, the open access, Sage Open, completely useless. Okay, there is no people working in Sage Journal, I guess. They take forever to respond. More than 1 year I waited. Then they just unsubmitted 3 journals. I submitted back to Helion. I already got review within 1.5 months. So don't waste your time with Sage Open. Which one of them is fastest in publishing? This one. This is the superstar of all, MDPI. Superstar. A lot of people don't like MDPI because they're very expensive. For me, if you ask me, I'm not really bothered whether we like them or not. For me, as long as they can publish, we can afford it. Like, number of journal authors, like, we have 6 or 7 authors together. Each of us do certain parts, and we like, if let's say 1,000 USD, each of us put 100 USD or 200 USD, we can pay, then it's fast. Okay, like I just shown you earlier, my journal took me only slightly 1 month, few days published already. Okay, but not everyone can get that because MDPI also rejects very fast. So if in your mind you want fast publication, take it off, plan earlier. Okay, plan early, start submitting early so you don't need to rush. Yanda recording, I think it's recorded. Probably you can talk to Dr. Mendy later to get the recording. They'll pass it to you. Okay. All right. How to find a journal? Now coming to your question, Haifa. There are these author services you can use. Okay, these are the links, direct links I can provide it to you guys. So there are, if you look at the chat box, all of you, there is Elsevier Finder, Wiley Finder, Taylor Francis Finder, Springer Finder, and IEEE Journal Explorer Finder as well. Okay, so you can use any of these to look for journal. The only downside of this is that you can only look for that specific journal. You cannot look for overall journals. But there is another way. This is technique number 1. Technique number 2. Just give me one moment here. Sorry, this is your phone call. Okay. Technique number 2, forward and backward snowballing. The most effective method. I never know it was called forward and backward snowballing. Since my PhD days, I was doing this. This is how I normally look for journals. It's from your reference list. Okay, from your reference list, and also from the paper. Let's say backward snowballing is going back in future. All right. Actually, not back in future. Like, that's a wrong term. You're going back in time. Right. Back to the future is a wrong term. Huh? You're back in time. All right. So let's say this is the paper you're reading. You're reading a paper on deep learning. Okay, let's say deep learning. Then you have a reference list. This paper was published in 2019, example. So you're looking at older journals, which these journals cited. Obviously, these journals are related to deep learning. Otherwise, why would they go and cite these journals? So obviously, you can look at where these papers were published, and you can also explore those journals. That is one way to quickly find out where you can publish your paper. Because if you're reading deep learning, obviously you're working in the same area as well. So that is one way to do. That's called backward snowballing. So you snowball into all these references and become a big snowball. That's what I call it snowballing. All right. Next thing, forward snowballing. What is forward snowballing? Now let's say you take this off. You're not bothered about reference list. Or you've done that already. Now you want to go to the future. Now you're going to the future. From 2019, you want to see in 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, who have cited this paper. So you go to Google Scholar, type down this title. Down there, you can see cited by. Hit that cited by. Google Scholar will show you all the latest papers have cited this paper that you're reading. From that also, you can decide where do you want to submit. Okay. That is called forward snowballing. All right. So this is two different methods that you can do. This is the best method for you to go and find a journal where would you like to submit to. All right. Types of journal papers. Now, before we continue, any questions so far? All of you are very quiet. I hope you guys can follow. I hope you guys are giving all your attention here. Take your eyes off anything else that you're doing. Do you all have any questions or not? All clear so far? All right. Very good. Thank you very much. Okay. So, types of journal papers, you can segregate into 4 different papers. First one, original research. This is where you get your data, your model, your software, and so on and so forth. Thank you, Amino. Thank you, appreciate that. Aurangzeb, thank you, thanks, appreciate that. Okay, so original research is empirical paper. This is where you get your data, your model, your software, your programming, all those things. And then you write a paper. And then this is called rapid communications or letters. These are short journals. If this is 10 pages, this is like 4 pages. IEEE have a lot of letters. I believe if you guys very familiar with IEEE, engineering especially, you can, computer science as well. You have a lot of letters. Very good, actually, very effective. I don't know whether USM recognizes letters or not, but I personally love letters because they're very fast, high impact, gets to the point very directly. Don't need to talk about theory la, wishy-washy story la, all these Peter Pan fairy tales and so on. Straight to the point. This is the experiment, this is the system, this is the problem, this is the solution. Finish, pop, go, next paper. I like that. I like letters. So if USM recognizes letters, some university don't for some reason. I don't know why. But in the UK and in the US, and I think everywhere in the world, most of the places where they publish a lot, letters are very well received. Okay, so if you're interested, you can explore this option. They actually review very fast. Usually only 3 to 4 pages only you can write. Then you have review articles. Okay, this is something I'm going to explore. This is something I'm going to explore in the next slide. Review articles and when to write them. Case studies are usually more for medical and law. Okay, especially law. We have a lot of law background guys today. Case studies not going to go very far these days. From case study, they are moving on to case series. That means a series of cases. They're not just doing case study, one case study. They're doing series of cases, right, to make it more stronger, strengthen the whole information. Now, coming down to review paper, what kind of review papers can you write? What are the review styles? Okay, so these are the types. you have systematic review. Under systematic review, you have meta-analysis, quantitative, qualitative meta-analysis. Anyone here have written a systematic review paper before? Anyone aim to write or have written already? Has written already? If you have never done, that's okay. Don't worry. Don't feel shy. Very good. Very good. I am very glad that you guys are doing it already. Okay, good. Okay, next class you can definitely join to learn about systematic review. It's actually very easy. All this hype about systematic review is actually nothing. It's very easy stuff. It's just the process of learning, the process of filtering how you search for papers. That's it. Nothing else. The rest of the discussion is all the same. It's all the same. All right. Then you have something called Cochrane review. Cochrane review is a derivative of systematic review. When they started early days, this guy called Cochrane Bannon changed a bit. He has his own manual to follow. Mostly medical guys will follow this. Then you have something called scoping review. Scoping review doesn't do systematic review. Scoping review does systematic mapping. It's different. It's systematic mapping. All right. Scoping review and REWS topology is almost the same. Okay, so if you're doing systematic review, you should also know what is Prisma, what is REWS, what is REMSS. There are many different topology to follow, right? Prisma is the most complicated actually because it's meant for clinical studies. So there are a lot of processes that you actually don't need to follow. Okay. Then you have the legendary narrative review and the kuncho of narrative review. So narrative review, and then you got critical review, conceptual review, state of the art review, all of this. I am soon elevating conceptual review. I'll be announcing the workshop soon, coming up very soon. Conceptual review, transformation into systematic review. How to actually elevate conceptual, because conceptual paper is very important. It gives the entire conceptual idea. Bibliometric review is another thing for you to do with the diagram and so on. But if you ask me, always try to stick with systematic scoping review. Much easier. Easier in the sense that people recognize it. Beginner, all of it. You can attempt all of it. Why not? When everyone is going to be a beginner when they come to systematic review, scoping review, and so on. So you just have to read the process in case, oh yeah, this is something I need to share. In case, if you guys want to know the simplified version of systematic review, the most simplified, I've already simplified for you guys. Okay, this is something that I do hobby-wise in TikTok. Here, 12 easy steps to do systematic literature review. Okay, so I already summarized it here. And I got a few other videos here also, 5 methods to find research gap, overcoming PhD journey, but this is very important. And also snowballing and Google search and so on. I've done another video here, how to actually perform proper Google search, Google Scholar search. A lot of people fail to do that. Okay, so here and this. So in case if you're wondering how to watch this video, that is the link. Okay. Huh? Amar, I think most of the doctors are also family men, so don't worry. All right. Okay. So these are the review types, and I'll share the slides with you guys. Don't worry. Later, once Dr. Manmin give me the email list, I'll email you, and you can go through all this explanation, advantage, disadvantage, application guidelines, and so on. Okay. So if you realize here, only up to scoping review there are guidelines. The rest got no guidelines whatsoever, because they are vigilantes. All right, I would call review vigilantes. That means you do your own thing, your own way. No one is there to dictate. That's why they cannot go very far. But we have proven track record where we have brought narrative review to as high as 14.8 impact factor I shown earlier. But it's not the case all the time. It's actually very tough. Systematic review is far easier to get into very high impact compared to narrative review. All right, that's why I'm soon elevating, introducing new way of writing conceptual review with systematic concept or scoping concept. I've done it already. I've published a paper already, which I shared earlier, but I'm going to make that into a workshop now. Okay. Now, narrative traditional literature review. If you want to know more on this, do I write systematic review for thesis or not? That is another big question, which I'll share in the next class. But if you ask me, you can do if you want to, if your supervisor wants to. If your supervisor say no need, then don't do. Normal literature review would do for thesis, because You like it or don't like it, you're still going to read. The only problem with systematic review for thesis is that sometimes you might miss out on reading essential papers. That is the risk of doing systematic review for thesis. I personally don't encourage it because I'm a person, I would encourage you to read everything when it comes to thesis. That means literally everything, so you don't even miss out on 5 to 10% of the information. You make sure you cover everything. Okay, during my PhD, that's my style. During my PhD, I read close to 1,220 papers during that 2 years and 11 months period. I read that many papers. Okay, every day compulsory, I'll read a paper. Okay, so in order to understand more on narrative literature review, you can read this paper, Writing Narrative Style Literature Review from Rossella Ferrari. To understand scoping review, okay, scoping review is something that you do very initially when you read a lot before you write the first proposal, right? The first 10 pages proposal, you'll be reading a lot. Okay, that is the process called scoping review. So how to do it properly? You can read this particular article to understand better. Then systematic review. This is a very basic text on systematic review by Terry Henley. Very good source for you to read as well, if you need more information. But I've already summarized, I've already simplified the whole systematic review into 12 steps. You can go ahead and watch my video. Papers on the group, yeah, it's already there actually on Telegram. So, this paper, I don't have it full version, but I'll share these slides. You can go and Google it up. It's easy to get, okay? These are all legendary papers. Okay, what to have in a review paper structure? What must your review paper represent when you're writing it? Okay, what you must have in it. That is something you really need to figure out. So these are the important points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You must have a combination of this in your review paper. Compulsory, the first two items. These two are compulsory. Okay, these two are compulsory items. Resolve ambiguities, provide a comprehensive overview. These two are compulsory. You must do. You must have. Review papers must be comprehensive and must resolve some kind of ambiguity. Now, the next upcoming ones, okay, are optional items. Identify inconsistencies in prior results. You can do that if you want to, or you can evaluate methodologies, or you can develop a conceptual framework, or you can describe roadmap existing gaps, or you can do a combination of those. You can identify inconsistency and as a result, develop a conceptual framework. Too many circles. You can identify inconsistency and then develop conceptual framework, or you can evaluate methodologies and develop conceptual framework, or you can identify inconsistencies and then describe roadmap existing gaps. You can do many different combinations, but these two are compulsory. You must have this information in the review paper. So this is how you can sort of do a checklist for you. What are you doing in your review paper? What is the purpose of you doing the review paper? Okay. Okay, so this is for fun. Even if there is idea, I still can't write. Why? Why you can't write? That is the major problem. Tell me whether you guys agree or not. You have a plan of things I should do, things I would like to do, but then you only end up doing this when you're procrastinating during your working hours. Okay, and then this one all left out hanging. True or not? Do you guys face the same problem? Procrastination is a major issue for you guys? Because I'm going to give you some solution to overcome it right now, today. Okay. I always ask this in all of my classes. Okay, all right. So seems like the others are very diligent. No procrastination at all. This is me sitting there. Aha, even better. Okay, all right. So what you guys can do immediately today, okay, right after this class, you can send all your phones to me. I'll give you my postal address. You can pack it up, send to me your phone. I'll keep your phone until you finish your PhD or Masters. Okay, all right, for free, no charges. It's okay. I can store it for you. I know you have at least 100 over phones today, so I can keep it for you. And then you go and do your PhD. Once you finish, show me the certificate and claim back the phone. This is the best solution. Okay, I'm just kidding. I don't want your phone. I know you can never stay away from your phone. So alternatively, what I'm going to tell you is you can do two things. First thing, when you start working, discipline yourself, put your phone away. Like today, right now, how many of you are still looking at your phone while listening to my class? See, Dr. Rafida going to do that to our students now. Okay. How many of you are still looking at phones while watching my class? Very good. Aurangzeb. Oh, Masito also very good. Very good. I like it. Not looking. Very good. Wow. Fantastic. I'm very happy to hear that. So you guys are amazing. You guys can discipline yourself. I'm cut from the rest of the world now. Very good. Me looking a lot. See, you have one here. My phone is 50 cm away from 50 cm is like, how big is this? 15 cm, right? So that's quite far actually. So that's okay, doctor, I think. Looking the Some of you are looking at it. So what you can do is take that phone, put it in a locker box. When you're going to work, switch off that phone, either isolate your phone completely from you, like give it to your spouse or give it to your kids or put it away in locker box. You can invest in a nice locker box, just put it there. So make sure that you don't have access to that locker box. You don't know the number. Someone has to come open it for you, then only you can take the phone. This is how you can lock yourself so that you can actually discipline yourself. It's an addiction. It's an addiction that is very hard to overcome because the moment you open your phone, there's WhatsApp, there's Telegram, there's TikTok, there's YouTube, so many things, right? Massive distraction. During my time, 10, 12 years ago, I was doing PhD, no distraction. Nothing whatsoever. Honestly, I'm telling you now, it's much harder with all these new things that is cropping up. I also go through it, but during only night time lah. Okay, yes, exactly. High dopamine addiction. So lock it away. This is actual social problem, which is actually delaying your work a lot. All right. Yes, WhatsApp web definitely need to be closed. Definitely. See, Amal doesn't want to give his phone to his wife. Something is happening there. Definitely. All right. So, all right. So, next thing you can do is next question you'll ask me is, I still got Wi-Fi on my laptop and PC. I still can do a lot of things there. Very good. What you must do when you sit down immediately in the first 10 to 20 minutes, download all the literature that you need. Don't do anything. Just control yourself 10 to 20 minutes, download everything. Then go to your Wi-Fi, hit forget Wi-Fi. Hit forget Wi-Fi, then you won't be able to connect back until you key in the password. So that is the best way to lock you down. But still, if you cannot tahan, you cannot stand, you still go back and hit the password inside the Wi-Fi, then no one can save you really in this lifetime. You're done. Okay. So these are the two methods that you can actually follow to overcome this high dopamine addiction. Okay, so click forget password. Thanks, Husna. All right. So and put your phone away, far away. Trust me, your progress will be fantastic after that. At least 2 to 3 hours a day. Spend on your PhD and masters. I know it's tough. You guys are most of you are working adults. Life is tough. You have to make money. Things are getting expensive. Inflation is hitting the roof. But unfortunately, you have to also finish your PhD and masters. All right. What I tried to overcome procrastination, Zaid, deleted YouTube. Wow. Facebook apps. Wow. Disable fingerprint login. Wow. Set the long, difficult password to log in. Wow. So every time it takes time to log in. That's very impressive, Zaid. Very good. Very good. I like it. Okay. All right. So these are the two things that you can do, or you can be extreme like Zaid. Okay. Zaid is really doing it. Okay. All right. So I'm going to skip this. We're going to skip this case study. Let's go to high impact paper writing. Okay. So I'm going to break down how you write abstract. Abstract is very simple. I'm not going to go through this example. So I will give you the slides you can read through, but I will explain this. There are two different ways to write abstract. Okay, not two different scenarios to write abstract. One is for thesis proposal, which entails 7 steps. Okay, for journal, you only need 5 steps. What is this 7 steps, 5 steps? I've never heard of this. What is this new thing? Okay, sorry, I'm a researcher, so I come up with solutions to make life easier. Now, my research is into education. All right, so I come up with new solutions to do things. So here, if you go to my Telegram again, so for those who never get the link earlier, this is my Telegram link. Sharing again. If you go here, type abstract. Okay. So if you go here, thesis abstract. So if you look at this particular template, let me just drag it so you guys can use it. I already given the PDF file. So if you click here, this is an actual example from thesis that I coached in MMU. Forgot his name, Dr. Sini, is it Dr. Sini or Dr. Forgot his for MMU Malacca, graduated already. So I took his example as one of the very good example, right? Abstract, and I've divided it into 7 steps. Okay, background, intro, problem, what is the research methodology, how did you do it, result finding, further justification, achievement, and why the study is great. So you can go through the example and replicate for your own research. Okay, so you can download the material here for 7 steps. Okay, for journal, you can use this 5 steps only. If you see 5 steps, there is no problem statement, no background, all those things, because it's very short. Journals are usually very short. Okay, Miss Fatini had shared the link. Please make sure you guys give feedback and register yourself for the class today. I think this one you already registered earlier, I guess, but you can give a feedback there. Later on, I'll be emailing to all of you the notes, yeah? So here, 5 steps, straight to the point. What are you doing? How you're doing it? What was the outcome? Why the outcome? Conclude by amplifying your achievement. So I've already split that into color. I've color-coded it. This is from Elsevier Q1 Journal. This is red color, first one. This blue color, red color, orange color, light blue, and black. So later when you go through, you know for a fact when you write the abstract for your journal, this is what you need to follow. Proposal thesis, you follow 7 steps. Okay. Now, introduction writing. During my thesis class, I also shared the same prospect, the same concept, because they are the same. Just that one thing is longer and one thing is shorter. But the flow, the funnel are always the same. Chapter 1 for thesis and introduction to problem statement for a journal paper follows almost the same flow of funnel. Okay, so it always comes with a background with statistical information. So you must always have statistics. Where do you guys go and find statistical information? Like you're going to talk about, let's say you're talking about a processor, the speed of a processor. What is the current speed of process? Statistically speaking, this is the percentage. This is a percentage improvement required according to the population, according to usage, according to cryptocurrency, and so on and so forth. Okay, so where do you guys go and find your statistical information to write a very good motivation for your study? Numbers are very important now when you write your background. Of course, Google it. I mean, is there any specific websites or not? Do you guys have any idea? Okay. The long silence means you guys don't know. It's okay. Try to look at relevant papers. Very good idea. But I already collected a whole database of information, statistics. Mana dia? Okay, there you go. So this is another template, finding statistics. So if you look at it, I've already summarized Worldometer, OWL and data, OECD, Department of Statistics, Statista, Data Bank, European Data Portal, UN data, WHO, Accenture, McKinsey. Accenture, McKinsey is very important if you're doing engineering or computer science related research, OECD as well. Okay, so because they have a lot of important essential information, right? So these are all the links given for you to go and explore. So in case if you're interested, the file is right here. Again, I'll tag. Okay, so that is where you can find those information, and then you write a minor literature review based on the background and motivation. Go to your problem statement, and finally, your solution. Problem statement also, I've already shared earlier, already got template, and that is the next upcoming class, 7 steps problem statement. So if you again search here, problem statement. There you go. Okay, so there are 2 different examples I've given. One is from environmental management PhD thesis, the one I coached, and one more was education. So I've given two examples. which you can definitely see and adapt according to your own requirement. You can adapt, no problem. Okay, but the flow is already there. These are two templates, and I'll be running a class on this next week, how to actually read this and figure out how to write for your own study. No problem, Aratai, no worries. So in case if you want to register for the classes next week, again, here you go. These are the links for all the upcoming classes for this month. Special classes before you hit your proposal defense or your thesis and so on. All right, so that is problem statement, but most relevant ones, if in case if you want to watch, in terms of video classes, how to write this information, you can go to my video link, background writing and introduction writing. Okay, these two classes will educate you on how to write your background, motivation, introduction, and so on. Okay, so you can go back to my Facebook page that I shared earlier. All right, then comes to literature matrix. Literature matrix is very simple. You just have to download papers, save it, and never open it again. Then you can do literature matrix. I know most of you are doing that, okay? Okay, so download it, save it, and never open it again. All right, so then automatically literature matrix will take place. Okay, I'm just kidding. I'm not encouraging you to do that. Download the paper and never save it. Okay, that is the trick. This is another psychological trick I give you. Download the paper and never save it, because if you have the fear of losing something, you will try your best to work on it. So you know that if I don't save this paper, suddenly my PC restarts, or suddenly my PDF crashes, these Windows will definitely crash. I'll lose this paper. So what you'll do, you'll read. You'll find a way to read it. Excuse me, this is how I psycho myself last time. Okay, so I don't save the papers until I read it. Once I read it, then I'll summarize it and I'll put into my EndNote, then only I'll save it. Okay, all right. So that is a way that you can train yourself if you want to do that. So this is the whole process of doing that. In case if you want to know how to summarize your paper when you do literature review, this is another template I have, literature review summary sheet. There you go. Okay, so this one will basically tell you, this one I given in Word format. Word format for you to read a paper. Okay, this is an example paper that we have done. International Journal of Information Management, Impact Factor 14.8. If you read through the title, these are the matters you need to summarize. Title, authors, introduction, theory, variables, methodology, analysis, findings, potential gap. I've given you an example already, even up to the impact factor level, so that you know what kind of papers you are reading. Then how I have summarized the paper. Okay, you can use this as a template. Every time you download a paper, read it, summarize it first before you save it. I know some of you are very busy, but you have no choice. You already signed up for the process. Do you do short notes, doctor? Sometimes we should selectively read, not the whole paper. What's your advice? Up to you. You're right. Some papers you don't need to read everything. Some papers you only want to go and look for some information that you just want to reuse. Happens. Not all papers you need to read everything. But sometimes if you don't read everything, you don't know what is going on also. Okay? So that is up to your judgment, how you want to read. All right, so you can download it here. Let me tag it again for you guys. It's there. All right, no problem at all. Then essentially every summary, when you combine them, will become a literature matrix. Very important if you're writing review papers. Review papers tend to have literature matrix frequently. It is something that reviewers sometimes look forward to. All right, how do we know? Because we coach and consult for a lot of thesis to journal conversion processes, a lot of journal writing processes, and we look at a lot of reviewers' comments. So we know for a fact that this is something that is definitely desired. Doesn't matter the field, right? Reading critically and creatively. Okay, I'm going to skip this. I'm just going to go straight to the point. What are the questions you should ask when you're doing critical review? Okay, first question, is this paper worth at all to read or not? Worth or not worth, don't read, don't waste your time. What problems this author is trying to solve? If you cannot answer the question, that means you don't understand the paper. That means you're not reading it right, or you never read at all, you just download and save it and never open it after that. Okay, if you don't understand, that means you are not a subject expert yet. So what you must do, you must transform yourself to become a subject expert. How? by going back to the books. You read something you don't understand, you go back to the books. Find the book that is relevant to that topic, read those books. That is what makes you an expert. Okay, that's what makes you PhD worthy. Don't skip a paper when you don't understand. I know you guys do. If you don't understand, I know some of you skip the paper, you go to the next paper. So you don't come back to this paper again. That is wrong, because one day in Viva, if they ask you a question related to that paper, you never know. That's when you go blank. Happens, huh? Trust me on this. Okay, don't skip papers that you don't understand. Those are the papers that you must read, because those are the information you don't know. Okay, and then ask yourself, is it the right problem or not? Are there much simpler solution or not? What are the limitations of the solution? Obvious and hidden limitations. You have to analyze this out. Were the assumptions reasonable? Can you discredit the work and create a new gap? Is the methodology rigorous or not? Okay, and these are more questions you can ask yourself when you're reading a paper. Don't worry, I'm giving the slides to you. You can go through later to summarize yourself. 7 steps, you have to read the template, then you'll understand, Olu. You have to read, then it'll be easier for you to understand. If you still don't understand, you can chat up later in the Telegram group. I'll try to explain to you. Okay? Oh, no, even better. You know what? Oh, no, abstract. Okay. Even easier. You go and watch this class. I've already done abstract class already. I forgot. Abstract. Let me just quickly give it to you. Okay, here you go. Okay, the class is over here. You can watch the class here. Just scroll down. Here is the link. All right. Okay. So results and discussion. When you provide result, okay, whether it's statistical table or qualitative excerpts, doesn't matter. Okay. You must include interpretations. Okay. What are interpretations? These are interpretations. All right, this is my actual result from my Q1 journal from 10 years ago, impact factor 4.8 even back then. All right, declaring opinions. So based on this interpretation, you can declare opinions, explain effects of findings, and making suggestions and predictions. Discussions must answer RQ. In addition, justify why that event took place. Introduce some theories to justify the event. Perhaps credit some famous authors who had experienced something similar, if and only if required. Okay. Conclusion is extremely important. Start by introducing what you did. Highlight the contributions, highlight the impact. Conclusion all about contributions and impacts only. Don't bother about anything else. Contribution, impact. Just focus on those both. All right. Now, potential extraction of journals from thesis. Now, all of you, this is a very important section. Give your full attention here. Right. Okay, I'm going to skip this because we are running out of time, because I spent a lot of time explaining the rest, but I'm going to come to this directly. Okay, this is the most important diagram. Not because I designed it. Yes, because I designed it. Okay, not because I designed it, because all the information on your process flow, on your research flow, and your publications are coming from here. So even if I coach and consult students, the first question I ask them is, where are you now in your journey? Because PhD is a journey, and it's not a direct journey. It is a downfall, uphill, battle, and downfall and uphill battle journey. All right. So it's not a straightforward journey. It's not like you start today, you start the engine, you get a PhD in 3 years' time. No such thing. Until you find the solution, you will never get your PhD. So this is your life cycle. All right. If you look at this, I've split the processes into 2 phases: PhD proposal, PhD thesis. Simple. Okay, masters the same, just the masters shorter time, PhD longer time. Depthness is different. Masters more on the surface, PhD more deeper. All right, but process more or less the same. Okay, so if you look at this, always when you start your PhD, start with 10 pages proposal first. Okay, normally when you coach and consult, you always ask them to start with step 1. Inform your supervisor what you want to do. Let them get the idea, grasp the idea of what you intend to do. Next thing, step 2, focus on creating chapters 1 to 3, about 60 to 80 pages would do. Then carry out proofreading process. Very important these days. Last time they were not so bothered, I would say, before pandemic, but now after pandemic, there is a huge rise of requirement to proofread even before proposal defense. I'm seeing that quite a bit, so that's why I emphasize that a lot nowadays. Then step number 4, prepare for your defense. Normally mock defense and so on. Normally we'll train students to go for defense and so on, so that they can defend properly. Go for your proposal defense. This is where you must be a hero, and your defense correction must be done immediately. Don't keep and sit on it. You want to take a break after proposal defense, be my guest. Do it. But don't take too long. Okay, I've seen students after a coaching session, they will take 1 year break, 1.5 years break, and then come back and then rush after that. Oh, I need to finish, I need to finish. You have to remember, the longer you take break, your references are expiring. Remember, less than 5 years criteria, your references are expiring. There is expiry date. All right. Now, once these processes are done, if you see here, there's a drop point here. Okay, there's a drop point down here. 2 journals production. As soon as you finish, let me zoom out. As soon as you finish your proofreading part, and while you're preparing for your defense, you can start writing your journals already. So this is what I'm going to talk about in the upcoming Facebook Live class, right? Fourth class, right? Writing review paper. So here you can write SLR paper. You can write conceptual paper. And in the upcoming Facebook Live class, I'll be giving you a conceptual paper. If you think engineering sector cannot write conceptual paper, I will show you our most recent paper from our client from UM in building engineering. They wrote a conceptual paper, Q1, Elsevier paper, SLR base. Okay. Then you can also write scoping review paper here. This is something very new, the Explore, because I just recently published one. Scoping review paper here. Then once you get into PhD thesis phase, you do your data collection, whether modeling, software, experiment, instrument, whatnot. 3 chapters is your chapter 1, introduction, problem statement, and so on. Chapter 2 is your literature review, theory, model, and so on. And chapter 3 is a methodology. Okay, if you don't know what to cover in those chapters, again, come back to my Facebook Live class. Chapter 1 template will be the 3rd class this month. All right, I've given the links earlier. Okay, so then collect all your data. This is totally up to you how you want to do it. Then you finish your chapters 4 and 5 if you have more result than 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on. Totally up to you. My PhD thesis had 9 chapters because I had 12 papers. All right. Finish your chapters 4 and 5. Then, clear up all of this. You pull your chapters 1 to 3. You pull your corrected proposal. You pull in your chapters, your result chapters, analysis chapters, combine them to form step number 9, chapters 1 to 5 alignment. All right, this is a very important phase where we normally consult because students sometimes they have no clue how to actually combine and then expand the chapters after that. Like, how do they update the references? They don't even know that they actually need to update references because external references are expiring and so on. So this is something that must be done. All right. Then once you finish that, only you start extracting 2 more journals here. Right. What are the 2 more journals here? Empirical paper, experimental, because you have your data here, and you can do SLR with meta-analysis. Okay. One question, doctor, for my case, we have to do experimental work. How do we squeeze into the timeline? Experimental work, that means you can either complete all the proposals, start the experiment here it's up. Okay, but still you need to go for proposal defense and so on, right? So somehow or other you will be following this. Maybe you'll try to finish this earlier to get into experiment as soon as possible. Okay. So for 2 journals here, it will be empirical papers and SLR meta-analysis. Okay. Right after that, no problem, Vijaya. Right after that, you must do your proofreading. Remember, this proofreading is very important because you have external examiners coming. External examiner, you don't want to offend them because they will take it very personally if your thesis is in the state of not readable, very bad language and so on. That means they feel that they take it very personal, from what I can observe, especially if it's from Britain. Okay, if they are English by native, they take it really personal. Okay, they take it really personal. Then prepare for your Viva, at least 2 to 3 mock Viva. Normally when we consult students, mock Viva, 2 to 3 rounds. They will do the supervisor, and the supervisor will send to us to do 1 more round to test their students and so on. We collaborate a lot with supervisors in this case. Then finish your Viva, go for your corrections. Major or minor doesn't matter as long as you finish your Viva. Okay. Then you have your coaching process here to finish that. This one must be done very, very delicately and diligently with proper examiner response document template and so on, right? So how do we normally assist in this process as an organization? How, as a consultancy, how do we look into it? These are the four important modes that we normally guide. Okay, these are our guiding principles. So either we will go based on content commenting and online coaching. That means these two modes, you must have your document ready. You have written already your proposal or PhD thesis or your what they call that, your publication, all must be almost done. So then this will be effective. But if you're fresh, you're just starting to write and so on, these two would be the most effective. Accelerated thesis consultancy, it's like a coaching plan will build for you, very comprehensive coaching plan. Or in certain cases, content editing, for the parts that we will teach you how to actually do it. Okay, all right. That's how I normally assist. Now, part of today's class, I'm going to give you sample papers for you to follow. This is Dr. Hero's sample paper, which we did, publication, which we enable it back in 2019, impact factor 9.29. Very good paper to look at, Journal of Cleaner Production. Next paper I'm going to share with you is concept paper from social science area. This is a top 5 paper in its area. First concept paper I've seen to go as high as 10.3 impact factor. I've never seen this before. That's why I'm sharing this as a sample. And my own paper, scoping review paper, how to write scoping review. At the very first stage, how do you write? Okay, this is a very good paper to follow as well. Now, this is a summary of the whole publication phenomena. So this is proposal stage. This is thesis stage. You can write concept paper, scoping review paper. When you finish your step 1, based on my diagram, you can write a scoping review paper. Then you can also write a SLR paper. How to write, Doctor? All chapter 1 to 3, how to write. 10 pages, focus on scoping review. Chapters 1, 2, 3, this 1, 2, 3, focus on concept paper, your concept, what solution you're trying to bring. Chapter 2 alone, focus on SLR paper. This is on roadmap, trend, and so on. Then your thesis part, you work on empirical paper, SLR meta-analysis. Your future work, you can write another scoping review paper. Is this possible or not? We have proven it. It works. All right. I've done 2 times of whatever people have done here. So I know this is for a fact possible. Okay. Okay. Conversion steps 3 and 4 is nothing but all about paraphrasing, because you'll be writing a lot of related papers. You'll be slicing your papers. So it needs a lot of paraphrasing. I just explain on the paraphrasing part. You can go through later, because I need to explain on cover letter writing. Journal production tips, as I've seen above, all top-notch papers from my esteemed clients. Important points I always discuss with them. Don't assume your reader understands everything. Explain and be descriptive. Make sure that excuse me, make sure the ideas are well structured in the paper. Avoid all over the place method. Polish and always polish. Get a solid editor to proofread. Not because you're a proofreading company, but this is the truth. You can never escape this. Unless you can write your English like almost native guys, shouldn't be a problem. You don't need a proofreader. Whether Grammarly will be enough or not depends on the state of your language. Most of the case, 98% I can guarantee won't be enough. Okay. Grammarly is good, even I use it, but for core editing won't be enough. All right. And this is a very, 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 very important certificate, okay, for you to process, for you to have. No proofreading company should charge you for this certificate. No. This is supposed to be free. All right. And endorsements are very, very important. And we even provide metrics to show to the journal how prominent is the certificate. Okay. How your document must be after proofreading, many don't know what to expect, especially students. So, academicians, they know, given the experience, how a proofreader should do a work. Sometimes students fail to understand. Then they get conned a lot, unfortunately. That is what you must have. As a transformation, paraphrasing, proofreading, editing, and structuring, this is how your paper must be transformed when you go for proofreading. All right, that is the amount of changes you must observe. And that is the result of that paper. Another one is from UKM, Dr. Sen Bung Lim. Also, you can see the amount of changes. This is MDPI, sustainability, and eventually got published as well. All right. Why rejection happens? In summary, at editor stage, rejection usually happens because of language, abstract, cover letter, lack of novelty. So this one I solved already. This one I already told you the solution. This one you need to find the solution. This one I'm going to give the solution next. At reviewer stage, okay, I already told you when to extract paper, when to write, so that you can avoid content problem. Without proper novelty in PhD thesis, you can actually find a lot of problem when you're publishing as well. Don't unrealistically claim things if they're not true. And I told you references, don't let them expire. If they expire, your research won't be timely anymore. So move fast. You need to. Okay. Now, finally, this one we only give for our invited talks. I mean, our basically my seminars lah. Okay. So no matter which proofreading services that you choose, I think preference is not covered. We do provide up to 30% off. I don't publicize this anymore because the package is actually not there. But for whomever I'm giving webinars, I do offer this for students. Ultimate thesis package up to 30% off. Proofreading, translation, and formatting services. And for journals, we do offer 10 and 20% off depending on the page count. Whether thesis, journal, even grant documents, we are the one and only language warranty provider. That means if your reviewer, examiners, or your internal defense, even your supervisor still comment on the language, we will fix it for free. Lifetime warranty. Provided you don't make any changes after our proofreading. Even one word change, this warranty won't work anymore. Okay? Chen, for any other detailed information, you can always drop me a WhatsApp. This is my WhatsApp information. Okay, that is my WhatsApp link. Now let's go to cover letter. It is a manner of marketing, as I mentioned earlier. Sell all you can in your cover letter. And this is the cover letter sample. How many of you want this cover letter? I need to see the energy. Do you guys want this cover letter sample? More energy, more. Only 2 people said one. Very little energy. Okay, I'm just kidding. All right, so so basically you address editor-in-chief, the journal name, and the journal publisher. All right. See, Vijaya got the most energy. Thank you, Vijaya. All right. So, dear editor, first one is very simple: information, paper title, authors, and which journal you're publishing. Next thing, central theme, novelty, depth. Very simple. I'll just explain. The second paragraph, you're basically telling your editor what is the issue I'm looking at in my paper, what is a theme. Okay, theme means what concept I'm looking at, and my contributions. Okay, just write down your first contribution, second contribution, and third contribution. If you have 2, write 2. If you have 1, write 1. If you have 5, write 5 contributions. Why? You're basically giving the best of your paper to the editor. How awesome is your paper? Next part, no matter how much you sell, okay, you don't sell what you want to sell. You sell what they want to buy. Understand or not? That is the technique of sales. Sales, you don't sell what you want to sell. You sell what they want to buy. Okay, supply and demand. All right. So the demand now is citation. Journal editors want citation. Can your journal give the citation or not? That is the supply and demand. So applicability and problem solving will give citation, because then only the impact factor will grow. Then only they'll be happy to accept your paper. Always remember that. So I tell the editor my subject area, where you can get citation from, important for you to mention, and then the exact problem I'm trying to solve, and what is the actual shortcoming. And therefore, this paper could provide a full duplex design guideline for the long-term evolution radio fiber integration to readers through Journal of Optical Communication Network. I'm telling him this is the guideline that your journal is going to give to everyone. And it is the first in the literature that reports actual full duplex 4G long-term evolution with the given specification. This one you can only write if it is true. My paper was true. It was the first experiment in the world when I did this. So if you're going to say the same, make sure it is first in the world, right? And finally, declaration. So you can reuse this template, no problem, no copyright issue, nothing whatsoever. Okay, but whenever you can always acknowledge this on Facebook. All right, okay, if your paper gets accepted, all right. Okay, so I'll be emailing you guys this template as well. These are all the materials I'll be emailing, and some of it you can also find it in my Telegram group. Okay, so don't forget, these are the upcoming. Don't leave yet. You still got one more thing to do. These are upcoming classes on Facebook Live, and these are all my social handles. Make sure you go and like and follow and join. This is where we are located, all right, in Cyberjaya. Now, for the classes in July, I give you the opportunity to request classes that you want because June classes are finishing. I mean, already listed the links there. So for July, you can request according to what you want based on quorum, based on consensus. We'll be designing the class. So this is the opportunity for you to request. Please kindly go to this link. I mean, giving you the link right now. Here, okay. All right, so this is the link. Click that link, make sure you hit 5-star review. I've give you a lot of knowledge today. If you're going to hit less than 5-star, don't click that link. You can PM me directly on Telegram. I will still consider your request. Don't worry. Okay. So hit that link, go and hit 5-star, review your best for the class today, and make sure that you write down what you want in terms of future classes. Okay, the link is given. And for those who are still stuck, whether academician or students, don't worry. We also coach and consult academicians as well. This is Prof. Barakatun from VPM. This is a Prof from UM. Mostly for statistical and publication, we consult for student, usually proposal thesis. How do we do? What do we exactly do? Publication, content editing, thesis examiner response. We'll coach them how to do it properly. PhD proposal consultancy, defense viva preparations, thesis to journal conversion, data analysis, and interpretation. So these are the main 6 themes that we normally cover in terms of our coaching line. All right. Okay. So on that note, thank you very much. Sharp 5:01, we are done. Thanks for your time. So I'll hand over to Dr. Manmeet.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Tawa. So, is
Thank
there
you,
any
Doctor.
question? Yes. Is there any other question for Dr. Tawa? Okay. I think you have actually handled most of the questions as you were going the session.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So, I hope that you could actually fill in the feedbacks. Okay. So, in that feedback, we are capturing the email addresses. And that email addresses will be actually passed to Dr. Tawa in the notes. We have a recording of this session in which we would actually upload in the YouTube. We have a session on the YouTube. Our email, all the audience here for the link of our YouTube. Okay, so thanks to Dr. Gan, she have done all this. All right. So I think we are at the end of the session. And on behalf of the sciences, I would like to thank Dr. Tawa for his beneficial sharing. I think even we as the academician have learned many new things. So thank you, Doctor. And like what mentioned earlier, we have another 2 sessions, and the session would be on the 4th of July. So we would share the call on, so I hope all of you would be able to join. Okay, so besides that, I would like to thank all the audience for attending this session, and also to my committee, thank you so much for the support. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Dr.
Have a
Manmeet. I
nice
would
day to
like
everyone.
to thank the organizing team as well. Fantastic job, guys. Okay, thanks, Dr.
All
Manmeet.
right, thanks.
Okay, I'll talk to you on WhatsApp. All right. So thanks, everyone. Take
Thank you.
care.
Yeah.
Wish you all the best. Have a very good evening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. No offense to you, don't waste your time. Here's why. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Hey, go. Bring me down, can't nothing bring me down. Your love is too high, bring me down, can't nothing bring me down. I said, bring me down, can't nothing bring me down. Your love is too high, bring me down, can't nothing bring me down. I said, clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Hey, go. Bring me down, can't nothing bring me down. Your love is too high, to bring me down, can't nothing bring me down. I said, clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Hey, hey, hey. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Hey, hey. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Come on. Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not. Cause the drinks bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Toast to the ones here today. Toast to the ones that we lost on the way. Cause the drinks bring back all the memories. And the memories bring back your. There's a time that I remember when I did not know no pain. When I believed in forever and everything would stay the same. Now my heart feel like December when somebody say your name. Cause I can't reach out to call you, but I know I will one day. Hey. Everybody hurts sometimes, everybody hurts someday. Hey, hey. But everything gon' be alright. Gonna raise a glass and say, hey. Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not. Cause the drinks bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Toast to the ones here today. Toast to the ones that we lost on the way. Cause the drinks bring back all the memories. And the memories bring back your. Memories bring back your. There's a time that I remember when I never felt so lost. And I felt all of the hatred was too powerful to stop. Now my heart feel like an ember and it's lighting up the dark. I'll carry these torches for you, and you know I'll never drop. Yeah. Everybody hurts sometimes, everybody hurts someday. Yeah, yeah. But everything gon' be alright. Gonna raise raise a glass and say, hey, here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not. Cause the drinks bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Toast to the ones here today. Toast to the ones that we lost on the way. Cause the drinks bring back all the memories. And the memories bring back your memories bring back your memories bring back your memories bring back your
Hello all, we are going to end the session. So thank you very much for participating today, and we'll see you in the next session. All right, thank you. Bye-bye.